Hello, everyone. I belong to this group called Sketch Club. It's an app which includes a group, and I draw almost all of my drawings on the iPad. I use this app, which I love. And every day they have a challenge, and the challenge is sometimes draw a cat or uh, draw an imaginary fish or draw a landscape or blah, blah, blah. Um, And I sometimes enter those challenges. Sometimes I think of, well, let me just show you what challenges are look like on this, because it's a nice thing. Dream career, what's your dream career? Fish acting like people. So here are what people have done for that. So here's dancing fish, and then you can look at them and you can see what the um, artists, each artist, uh, how they responded to this challenge. Well, I suggested a challenge and it was accepted, and it's draw things reflected in glass, metal, or water. And so I uploaded quickly two things that I had done in the past, um, and I wanted to explain to people using this app maybe why it is that I like doing these kinds of drawings. And so here's one of them. It's reflections of uh, a street and a window. So I was on my way to the dentist and I passed by this very opulent um, opera house, and looking through the window at the interior of the glass window into the interior of the opera house, I saw sparkly chandeliers and all sorts of stuff. But I also saw what was behind me that way. I saw that way, and I also saw this way. Reflected in the glass, I saw a building, and here's a bicycle path on the road. There's the yellow line of the road. So essentially, what I was drawing here were two pictures at the same time. It's like a double exposure. And what's fun about drawing a double exposure is you can screw up really easily and no one will know. It's really fun because you don't worry about getting it right, really, because all of it's sort of wrong, because you're drawing two things at once. Another thing I like drawing, let's see if I can figure out how to get this back to challenges, today's challenge. Another thing I really like drawing are cars. I hate cars. I must say, I hate cars. But drawing a car and drawing the reflections of in the window of the trees, in this case, the trees and sky over here, the trees and ground. I don't know what this brown thing is supposed to be, maybe the garbage cans or something, I don't remember. But I also have the car. So I'm drawing sort of two things at the same time. But the nice thing about a car is you have this very abstract shape that if you draw the entire car, it's not as much fun. But if you zoom in on a little part of the car, then you have a interesting shape, this sort of hourglass shape with a big red blotch there, and then all of these lines. And then I sort of ignore the car and I draw the reflections. So I have sort of one drawing, two drawings, three drawings. How many drawings are in this car? So it's really kind of fun to uh, get away from drawing a single object or a single object realistically. I am drawing a realist. I draw what I see, but by choosing a part of something, and if it's reflective, it's adds all sorts of fun to the process. So another thing that's fun is drawing, you know, a reflection in a pot or a pan. Now, this is a reflection. It doesn't, you can't really see what it is, but it's sparkly, shiny bits, and that's reflective. I like going to a bar, and I will sit and look at the bottles across from me, and the bottles are all different colors and they're different shapes, but they all are sparkly. The reflected light of the lights of the bar will bounce off the little corners of the bottle like it is here. So that's a reflection, that little sparkly bit right there. So if you have a whole bunch of bottles, it's just electric, all of the sparkles. So and the thing about drawing in here on a reflective piece is I'm suddenly really, really skinny. It's like a funhouse mirror. So the reflection often is distorted, so you don't worry about having to get things perfect again because it's distorted. And it really is freeing. You can really just have fun, I think. So let me just do something here. Here's my canvas, and I'll draw. What will I draw to show you sort of why I like doing what I do? Okay, I'm going to draw this thing is upside down. So I'm not going to draw the whole thing because that's not interesting to me. I'm just going to draw part of the thing. And so I usually I'm just going to do it in black and white so you can see quickly what I'm doing here. I'm going to add this, and I'm adding that. I'm not going to draw that, but I'm going to draw the reflection of that. So I'm looking at the upside down canister, and in just the metal part, I'm going to draw what's reflected in it. And so here's the top of the canister, which is metal. And then the size of the canister is way down here. Well, let me I'll show you what I mean. Color fill. I'm going to make it like this. So the whole canister here's the top of the canister, here's the side of the canister, here's the wrench in real life, the wrench, and so that's what I'm drawing. I'm drawing this scene in front of me. Now, but I'm zooming in. I'm just going to draw this part of it right here. I'm zooming in. So let's do that. So I zoom in. That's what I'm drawing right there. You have to use those sound effects. So now I'm just looking at the top part of the canister and the reflection. So what do I see? Well, first of all, I see this weird shape right here. Looks like that. And then I have a shape coming up here like this and like that. And what is that, you're saying? Well, believe it or not, this shape right there is my wrist holding the iPad up, which is reflected. Here are the handles of the pliers, and because it's distorted, they don't look like they're supposed to, but they're distorted. So again, you forget your drawing of pliers. You sort of have to, when you're drawing reflections, you kind of have to draw what you see, not what you think you see. You draw a sparkly bit of light because there's a sparkly bit of light there. You draw a V-shaped thing here, triangular shape there. I don't even know what that is. It's a piece of paper that's reflected. But I don't know that because I can't see that because it's behind the iPad. But I can see it on the canister. This big blob. I'll do this in color now so you can kind of see what I'm doing. This big blob is my wrist. Hold my hand. There's kind of things that look kind of like maybe fingers back here, but I don't really know because I can't quite see it. So there's this pink shape here. And then there's the brown leather of the tabletop is here. This is a brown color. And what I might do is zoom out again when I'm done with this so that you can see how this works. There's a little sparkle right there. There's not much of it. There's something going on over here. I don't quite know what it is. There's a shadow here. Now, if and this thing is kind of yellow. Isn't that beautiful? No, of course not. But it's, you know, if this was a saxophone and it was all different reflective surfaces, then I'd have all sorts of craziness going on. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to zoom out again where you can see how this works with the rest of it. So I'm going to now draw the canister again. First, I'm going to draw the leather outside. So here's the outside of the table. Here's the shadow of the canister, which is dark. Here's the actual pliers. I have to, in order for me to do this right, I need to just make everything kind of dark. Outside the, come on, dark. It's sort of easier for me to draw light onto dark. Okay, so now here's the canister again. Here's the tabletop behind the canister. Here's the pliers down here. This will suddenly just pop out and be magical in a minute, maybe. Again, what I was trying to do with this YouTube video here for Sketch Club people, especially Sketch Club people that maybe get frustrated because they cannot draw as realistically as they like. And by drawing something that's already distorted, so you sort of say, well, okay, Pierre told me just to draw the shapes, don't worry about the details. Then maybe you will learn something about how you're drawing. Or not, I don't know. So here's the pliers. Now there's sparkly reflections here too, that, you know, is another way you could just draw the sparkles. Just get a bunch of jewelry and dump it on the table and just draw the sparkles there. Those are reflections in metal as well. So here's my reflected cup. One thing about drawing things that are transparent or reflected is you sort of have to draw if you just draw what you see without drawing the surroundings, you might not understand what you're looking at. If I drew a glass of water and all of the shapes within the water, but I didn't draw the background of the glass of water, then it wouldn't look transparent. So you sort of have to draw all the elements, not just what's inside of a shape. You have to draw what's on either side of the shape too. And this is just if you want to be realistic. You don't have to be realistic if you're at all. So here's my pliers with its reflections that aren't very descriptive. And then you see it reflected in here. Behind that, you see the brown leather tabletop. Then you see my hand. So it's all, but again, what I'm trying to suggest, if you zoom in and just look at this kind of a thing, which is how I started, you don't have to sweat you just pick something that looks like it is pretty colors or fun shapes or some other kind of thing, and you might enjoy the result, because in a way, even though you're drawing something that's much more complicated than what you see back to that first drawing I showed you of the reflections in a window. You know, I have to draw not only the window and what I see through the window, but I have to draw what's outside of the window and what's reflected in the window. So I have to do two drawings, and sometimes doing two drawings is easier than doing one. So here, this has sort of two drawings. There's a drawing on the outside of this cylinder, and there's a drawing inside of it. An image inside and an image outside. So that's kind of fun, isn't it? Or not. Bye.